Well, what we're going to talk about today is going to be the way that the government controls the poverty-stricken populace by sticking us in situations where we're unable to get out of them. The issue here is that, number one, you can work all your life, make as much money as you want, as long as you're paying your taxes. The minute you need help, they knock you down. They stick you in a situation where you're unable to walk away. Case in point, Section 8. Okay? When you're on Section 8, you're only allowed $300 in your bank account. You can't save money. You literally can't do anything. Any money that you obtain, like tax returns, so on and so on, it has to be spent within 30 days, or you get knocked off of the program. And this is why I'm starting this YouTube channel. It's things like this that people need to know about. It's not just me bitching and complaining. People need to know these things. One of my biggest pet peeves with this whole thing is that, number one, I myself am disabled. I'm home with my kids most of the day. You know, I do things around the house that I can. Anybody that knows me knows exactly what goes on. So I don't think I really need to explain it. But the point here is we need to start looking at the way that the government is pushing these programs. And not just because, there are people that need them. Obviously, I'm on Section 8. I'm on, food stamps too. These are things that my family couldn't live without. It's impossible to get off of it, however. And this is what I'm going to talk about. Okay, number one. When you get on, the first thing that they do, ask for bank account numbers, social security numbers. We already know that the government has the right to these things, okay, because they're the ones that issue them to you in the first place. So let's get that out of the way. It's completely allowed. It's how they track everything that you do, okay? Anything that goes through your bank account, right off the bat, they know what's going on in your bank account. So let's put it this way. If you get a tax return, say it's $10,000, $12,000, doesn't matter. Anything over $300 has to be spent immediately. You're not allowed to save it. You're not allowed to hold on to it. You're not allowed to do anything with it. You can't give it to somebody to hold on to, because then they track your family's bank account and so on and so forth. People don't seem to realize that this is one of the ways that they trap people where they are. They make it so that you cannot better yourself. And this is part of the problem with this country. All right. Now, if you look at the current news, we're about to have a really big issue happen here. Trump wants to take and implement a tax program where you're only allowed 56 cents on the dollar for your income that you get from work. Now that gives 46% to the government, and I think that's completely ridiculous. Right? It's not a fair trade, and it's literally trying to keep the poor. And let's be honest here, the government is all about being big government and trying to take over whatever they can in your everyday life. It doesn't matter that these things help people, because to them, it's not about helping the person that's on their back. It's about getting every dollar that they can from everybody else and keeping certain people where they want them so that they can use them later on. And You might think this is a conspiracy theory, so on and so forth. Go look it up, okay?
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
It's on the congressional website. Trump has made it so that these programs are going to be at the top of the list. No matter what happens, they're going to get funding because everybody's going to wind up on them. All right. These are problems that nobody in their right mind would think would happen in the United States. And our forefathers would be pissed if they saw what's going on in this day and age. But let's be honest. You know, I mean, it's insane. You know, there are very few people left in the world that want to do good for other people, that want to show people what's going on with the rest of the country, what's going on with what our government has set for us.
This is a demonstration
and
of Wirecast.
It bothers me that these people don't understand the situations that people get into. Food stamps is another example. All right. You get on food stamps, you're allowed to make so much money. You're only allowed to work so many hours a week. All right. Any income, $1 over, will knock you off the program. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, certain people need them. All right. Let's be honest. Single moms are one of the top of the list people that get food stamps in this country. And 90% of those moms, if they make $1 more than they're supposed to, they lose them. All right. And what does that do to their family? Their families starve. And then they have to go to soup kitchens and fucking pantries just to get food. All right. I've done this. All right. Anybody out there that hasn't or that has and doesn't want to say so, that's fine. That's your own prerogative. But I'm being honest here. All right. I've been through a lot of different shit in my life where I've needed those resources. And let's be honest, it's there because people need them. All right. I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm not going to complain about it. I needed them. I used them. That's all there is to it. They're there for that reason. All right. But the big problem is they're allowed to tell you what you can and can't do on these programs. All right. And I'm not saying that everybody should be rich and have a Cadillac and have somebody else pay their fucking rent, because that's just stupidity. All right. What I am saying, however, is that people need to get their shit straight, because once you get on these programs, don't expect to ever get off of them, because you're going to be stuck there. And this is a fact. It's not something that I'm making up. You can look up every one of the statutes that are attached to it. All right. You can't work a certain amount of hours. You can only make so much, so on and so forth. You can't even spend as much as you get for your tax return fast enough. I promise. My wife and I have been doing this for the last 15 years, I think it is, that we've been dealing with this shit. All right. We're stuck, not allowed to save money, can't buy a house, can't do anything with it. All right. And, you know, they even looked at her mother's account when we tried to put money in her account. So, I mean, it's obviously a privacy issue. And I'll tell you what, I think it's wrong. Not only is it wrong, but it's absurdly, inept of the government to be so goddamn intrusive on our lives. I mean, let's be honest here. You know, they're allowed to do and say whatever they wish, you know, and people don't stand up for themselves anymore, and people don't say anything anymore. People become sheep because they think that it's okay to just let the government do whatever the fuck they want. All right. And that's a problem for me. All right. As a man, that's a problem for me. I don't appreciate it. I don't think it's smart. You know, I think our country's better than that. All right. And a lot of the shit going on right now is becoming a huge problem. You know, I mean, We have more people starving in this country
demonstration of Wirecast.
than we feed in any other country. I'm telling you, this is true. Okay? We can't take care of our own homeless, yet we put money in other countries. How fucking stupid is that? I mean, you have to be completely fucking inept to not be able to get that. That's not the way to do things. All right? Help home first. All right? Help everybody here and then go from there. It's ridiculous. If you can't do that, then you have no
This
right
is
being
a
a government
demonstration
official.
of
Sorry,
Wirecast.
it's just the way it is. Now, the other thing I'm going to discuss is that we as a people don't stand up. I said it before, you know, like people become sheep. All right? You people have to know that by the letter of the Constitution, if your government is not doing what it's supposed to, if it's not working for you at all, if your people don't
This is
think
a demonstration of
that this
Wirecast.
government is doing exactly what it's designed to do, then you need to stand up, say we need a new form of government, and tell them that it's over. You need to start from scratch. We have that right as a people. It's in the fucking Constitution. Go and read the shit. All right? It's unbelievable how many people don't even know half the shit that's in the Constitution. People don't know half of their amendments or their rights.
This is a
And
demonstration of Wirecast.
it drives me nuts. I'm sorry, but these are things that most 10-year-olds can probably cite. You know, I mean, it bothers me. As an adult, you should know every right that you have. All right? Not because you're going to get in trouble with the police or whatever the case may be. That's not the point here. All right? You need to know these rights because they were given to you by your forefathers. And these were rights that were given to you
This
for a
is a
reason.
demonstration of
Because we
Wirecast.
wanted freedom from oppression. Okay? And we got that when the United States came to be. And this is fact. It's not fucking opinion. It's fact. All right? So get your shit together. Let's start, you know, really looking at the things that are going on here. Because this country is only going to get worse over the next decade or so. All right? Our country's in shambles
This
as it
is a
is. You know, I
demonstration
mean,
of
the
Wirecast.
current administration, we'll call it, for lack of a better way to put it, that's not offensive. He platformed on the guise of, I want to make America great again. What he wants to do is he wants to make the 1% greater than they already are. And this is a fact. Okay? There's no two ways about it.
This is
The
a
shit's all over the
demonstration of
news.
Wirecast.
There's tons of different stuff online that you can look up. Okay? Look up his new tax law. It says 56 cents on your dollar that you earn from your job. Is that fair? All right, they already take about 20% as it is, okay? And every time you go up a tax bracket, they take another percent, okay? And then they tax the shit out of any kind of bonus or any kind of extra money that your job may give
This
you.
is a
All right,
demonstration of Wirecast.
this is ridiculous. All right, you earn that money. You should have a right to not have it taxed to shit. All right, it's taxed under the capital gains tax too, which is the highest tax bracket that there is. Okay, there's two separate types of taxes. Okay, you have your capital gains tax, which is basically for stocks and so on and so forth. It's taxed at the highest amount possible. All right, it can be up to 56%.
This
period.
is a demonstration of Wirecast.
So, a lot of bonuses, a lot of money that you get as incentive from your job, it's taxed by that tax. Okay, and it's kind of ridiculous that they put such a hard tax on something that's, you know, that's supposed to be yours in the first place. You know, I mean, a lot of people don't know that the income tax didn't start
This
until
is a
around World
demonstration
War
of
II.
Wirecast.
It was originally vetted as a war tax so that they could collect money to keep the government running during the time that most of the men were at war. Okay, and believe me, if you know anything about World War II, it was gory, it was bloody. We got pretty fucked up. We won, but we got pretty fucked up, let's be honest. All right. The issue there is they took that war tax and they took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that it was unfit and that it was unconstitutional. Okay? Now, what happened after that is they reworded the document. The document then became what we know as the federal income tax and the state income tax. Okay? Now, anybody that knows anything about tax law, you know, like you're more than welcome to look this up. This is absolutely true. It's in American history. They implemented it just so that they could keep receiving money from the masses. Now, I'm not saying that taxing the people is wrong, because it's not. It pays for a lot of things, roads, snow removal, you name it, it does a lot of different things. Okay? However, when you work and you get money from those people that you work for, your employers, okay, it's supposed to be a fair trade for your time and their money. Under the laws, back when these laws were first implemented, it wasn't considered income. It was considered a fair trade. Okay? I get that taxes need to be paid and people need health care and so on and so forth. That doesn't make it fair. Okay?
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Again, these are things that you can look up. They're on the internet. Just find them. It's not hard to look for. All right, let's move on to one of the biggest things that bothered me over the past couple of weeks. I keep seeing this video circulating of a family coming out of a store and this guy driving his truck around and snatching a steak out of this girl's cart and saying, "Steak is for taxpayers." Well, guess what, asshole? Just because one of the people there was working a job and bought scratch-offs does not give you the right to take the shit out of the woman's cart and say steak is for taxpayers. That makes you a complete fucking hypocrite moron. Because if you were on the fucking other side and somebody did it to you, you'd be crying on your fucking face. I guarantee it. All right? This is what I'm talking about.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
All right? Nothing gives these people the right to do that. It doesn't give them the right to absolutely and without any cause make you feel like shit because you're getting the help that you need. Okay? Nobody should ever allow that. Nobody should ever put up with that, period. Okay? It's common sense. These three people, two of them were working, and they had 6 kids between all three of them. Okay? They all lived under the same roof. All right? You tell me how you feed 6 kids with 2 people working fucking minimum wage jobs. And I'm going to tell you you're wrong if you fucking lie and say that, oh, I could work tons of hours and feed my kids. Tell you what, you're making fucking minimum wage. You're not going to feed 6 kids, I promise. I have 3 of my own, and I can barely feed my family on the money that I get from disability and the money that I get from food stamps. Okay? And it got shortened even more when my wife went to work. All right? So let's get that out of the way really quick. Okay? These people have the right to not be harassed and not be fucking judged because these people have absolutely no idea what's going on in their lives. All right? Not only that,
Demonstration
but
of Wirecast.
they seemed like they were pretty decent people, and they weren't bothering anybody. They didn't hurt anybody. Okay, just because you fucking pay taxes, you have the right to say that somebody can't have steak. How about this? All right, these people need a well-rounded meal. Their kids need to eat right and healthy. Okay, you cannot do that with just money from 2 fucking minimum wage jobs. I'm sorry. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Okay? We grow a fucking garden because we don't want to have to pay the money for produce. It's ridiculous. All right? And meats have gone up to such a fucking point now where you're paying $20, $30 just to have 2 different fucking meals. All right? I don't see that as being right. But the problem is they fucking dump so many hormones into these fucking animals that it's going to cost a lot more because they're using growth hormones on them. All right? People are fucking stupid. They don't get it. And the organic shit, you might as well fucking be eating a piece of shoe leather because those fucking cows don't eat anything healthy. They look emaciated. It's common sense at this point, people. It's just common sense. All right? The other thing that bothered me really, really badly this week was somebody said something to me that fucking really annoyed me. This is a
demonstration of Wirecast.
How do you tell somebody that you think that they're a fake because they need help from the government? All right? A friend of mine said this to another person in front of me, and I almost punched him in his fucking mouth. All right? Let's put it this way. Just because you need help,
demonstration of Wirecast,
again, doesn't give somebody the right to judge you. All right? There's a few things that really go into this, and I've watched a lot of my friends, really mull this over because a lot of them have tried to get help, and they're really leery about taking it because they don't want to be judged. And let's be honest, people judge no matter what. It doesn't matter what the fuck you say. It doesn't matter what you do. People are going to judge you. The only good thing that you can do for yourself is pretty much tell them to go fuck. Because no matter what you do, no matter what you say, it's going to be the same. They're going to judge. It doesn't matter. You shouldn't have any worry about what anybody has to say. All right? You're doing what you need to do to take care of your family. And if people don't like that, well, it's too fucking bad. That's just the way it is. All right? Taxes or not, it's your family. You want them to grow and prosper. That's the point of having a fucking family. I mean, I can bitch for hours about how some of these people are. And you know what? It's not worth my time because let's be honest here. A good portion of the people that do these things to these people are so miserable in their own goddamn lives that's why they do it. And you know what? Let it be how it is, because in the end, it's going to come around and it's going to bite them in the ass. Whether they like it or not, that's part of life. And karma sucks like a motherfucker. It sucks. I know better than anyone. I've done some pretty shitty stuff in my life. Not going to get into that, but it's just honesty. I mean, at least I have the nerve to fucking admit it. Most people don't.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Well, one of the other things that people really need to watch for when it comes to this type of thing is that some of these people actually get violent. I've seen a couple of really nasty videos where somebody got the shit beaten out of them in a supermarket because there was a lot of food in their cart and they were using food stamps to buy it. And when the lady bought a pack of cigarettes, the woman behind her
This
went
is a
haywire,
demonstration of Wirecast.
and she started hitting her. She actually hit her with her purse first, and then just started punching her outright. It was insane. It really bothered me. I really think that, that's the kind of shit that people should go to jail for. And unfortunately, the woman that got beat up, she was really humble about it. She said, "I don't want to press charges. I just want to go home and feed my kids." And that shows a lot for somebody to walk away from something like that and say, "Hey, I'm stronger than that person. I'd rather go home and be with my kids than deal with this asshole and the police on top of it." And I applaud that. That takes some balls, believe me. Well, there are a few other things that I want to touch on before, I really end this. One of the biggest ones was the tax code. I touched on that, but I really didn't say as much as I should have. It literally puts us in a situation where there are going to be no classes between the rich and the poor at this point. He's trying to break the caste between middle class and poor people, and this is exactly how he's going to do it. That's if he doesn't get impeached first, which is, I'll get to that in a moment. This tax code is dangerous in a lot of different ways, and I really think that people need to keep their eyes open, and you need to protest if you need to. You need to send letters to your congressman if you need to. You need to do all those things to keep our caste safe. I mean, it may suck to be in lower class or, like lower middle class, but it's where you're seated. It's part of the way life works in this country, unfortunately. But
this is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Sometimes people can't better themselves because it is the way it is. And I'll be completely honest, and I'm happy where I am. I have a great family. I have, my wife is the best thing that's ever happened to me. My kids are awesome. I really can't ask for a lot more. I mean, and I'm not doing too bad for myself. I mean, I'm happy. That's all that matters to me. And my family's happy, and that's what matters most.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
But you need to realize that this is something that could potentially destroy our country, and people haven't heard very much about it yet. There's been drips and drabs coming through the internet. If you look on Facebook, somebody posted, like a few short things about it. It's definitely there, though. It says 56 cents on every dollar. I said that before. And that's literally robbing you of almost half your fucking paycheck. That's unconstitutional by any means. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. And I don't think that the Supreme Court would disagree with that. I don't think it'll pass, but in the event that it does, be ready for prices to go really high, because this is what they're shooting for. I mean, people don't realize that those taxes being dumped into the government, it's going to start a lot of different things that we don't want to happen here. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that tonight, but another night we'll sit down and we can have this talk. I'd love to actually have a
This is a
couple of people come
demonstration
over
of
and hang out
Wirecast.
and do the cast with me, next time. There's a few people that come to mind. I'll talk to them myself, however. Let's talk about Trump and what's going on there. They're talking impeachment over secrets about ISIS and the Middle East that were given to Russia.
This is a
Now,
demonstration of Wirecast.
they have audio, which that says that they may actually have proof, and if they do, that might not be a bad thing. However, the man behind him, Pence, a lot of people are like, oh, it'd be better to have Pence because he's not Donald Trump. Here's the problem. Okay. He is absolutely guilty of a bunch of different biased crimes, and I mean race crimes,
This is a demonstration
as
of
well
Wirecast.
as sexual orientation and so on and so forth. He's been investigated for gay reprogramming camps that run through his church. And a lot of the stuff was swept under the rug because he absolutely has ties to the Senate before he was a politician
This
with
is a
Trump.
demonstration
So,
of
I mean,
Wirecast.
he's a real piece of garbage. I mean, the man can absolutely be compared to Hitler. I mean, there's quite a few things that are wrong with this guy. And anybody believing that he's going to do a fucking better job is stupid. I'm sorry. The man is evil. All right. He's done tons of different shit. All right. And then you have everybody behind him. I mean, let's see, Paul
This is a
Ryan.
demonstration
Paul
of
Ryan's about
Wirecast.
as smart as a fucking doorknob. I mean, the guy doesn't get it. He does whatever he's told by the Republican Party. And let's be honest, he even went out there and blew smoke up everybody's ass about the new health care bill. Okay, this is a man that's played lapdog for the fucking Republican Party for, I'm going to say, probably about a decade at this point, because he's
This is a
pretty new to the
demonstration of
political scene.
Wirecast.
I don't think he's a bad politician. I just think he's being led around by his nose. It's not a good thing to give in to pressure when you're in the position of Speaker of the House. I mean, there's so many other people that would do a better job. And I know a lot of you are going to say Hillary Clinton
This is a
or,
demonstration of
like
Wirecast.
tons of other people that could do a much better job than Trump. Here's the issue as it stands. All right. Hillary is guilty of a lot of things. And the reason that she wasn't indicted on the charges that the FBI were holding was because Obama stopped it. All right, this is a fact. It's not an opinion. He red-lettered the whole thing. He made sure
This is a
that the FBI
demonstration
could
of
not
Wirecast.
prosecute her because he said it straight up. He was going to midnight pardon her if she was indicted. So one way or the other, she's a treasonous bitch. All right. I'm not going to go too far into that because it's not what I'm here for tonight. All right. I am going to say this. Her security staff wrote a book about her demeanor and the way that she treats other people and the way that she acts
This is a
towards other people.
demonstration of Wirecast.
Okay. You need to read it. There's also a bunch of stuff in there about people disappearing under her name. The Clinton Foundation, which is the biggest thing that you need to read about. Okay. The Clinton Foundation supposedly helps disenfranchised women that are abused, so on and so forth. Only 1% of that charity actually goes to the people that it belongs to. Okay. The rest of it funds the
demonstration
Clintons'
of Wirecast.
legal defense. This is a fact. You can go and find that. It is definitely on the internet. It's in books that are already written by the security detail. You can find the shit. It's not hard to find. Okay, so let's get off of Hillary Clinton, because honestly, you know, she's not the main focus here. I do, however, think that
Demonstration of Wirecast.
there's a lot more that I could say, but I think I'm gonna leave it at that tonight. I'm gonna call this, you know, like my first actual cast, and you know, call it a good night, and we'll see where things go from there. Have fun, guys.